Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Izzudin Adli. I'm from the class 03SIGE002, and in this video I will explain a little bit about phrasal verbs from the subject of upper intermediate grammar. So what is a phrasal verbs? And in this video we can talk about what is phrasal verbs, the types of phrasal verbs, and then the list of words that are included in the phrasal verbs. So let's begin. What is a phrasal verb? A phrasal verb is a verb plus a particle. It could be preposition or adverb that has a special meaning. Like for example, put off. That means to postpone something. Put on to wear something. Put away to return it to the proper place, and put back to return it to the original place. It's for me it's kind of interesting because if we take words by words, the actual meaning is actually very far away from the meaning of it. Because if we take the word put, it means to take it, and off it means to just like the last and be like something like this. That's off, and then it's on. But we put off and put on, it means entire new meaning. It makes entire new meaning, and way back also, it doesn't mean to return it to some place. Like in this slides, you can see that put away means to return to proper place, and put back return to the original place. But if we uh, take the by words, the meaning is not that. That's why I think first of all is kind of interesting, and that's why I want to explain this to you. So there are two types of phrasal verbs. There are separable phrasal verbs, and there are non-separable phrasal verbs. There are phrasal verbs intransitive, and also the last one is three-word phrasal verbs. So let's start with the first types. Separable phrasal verbs. So some phrasal verbs are separable, meaning the object can be placed after the particle, or in between the verb and the particle. So for example, for the phrasal verbs that are after the particle, we can say like we put off our trip. And for the example of phrasal verbs that are separable between the verb and the particle is we put our trip off. So there's we put, it's separated by our trip and then off. So the rule is if the object is pronoun, it must go between the verb and um and the particle. Like for example, the phrasal verb is we put it off, not we put off it. It's incorrect if you say we put off it. We put off what? Okay, so here are the list of phrasal verbs as you can see on the screen. There are figure out means to find a solution to a problem. For example, I figure out the answer. So there are hands in to give homework, papers, etc. to a teacher. Hand in our homework, for example. Hand out, look up, make up, pick up, down, put off, put on, take off, turn off, turn on, wake up, write down, which you can see the meanings on the example. So how do I able to know the meaning of all these phrasal verbs is to memorize it. I think for me, phrasal verb is kind of unique, so the only way to actually able to know what is the phrasal verb is to memorize it. It's pretty simple. You can memorize it through the songs or the movies. It really helps me a lot because songs and music and movies sometimes giving you the context, and it's easier to memorize when you understand the context. So the second type of phrasal verbs is non-separable phrasal verbs. So these phrasal verbs cannot be separable, cannot be separated like the first types. So some phrasal verbs cannot be separated. The object must always follow the particle. Always. It's underline always. So for example, I ran into Bob, I ran into him. You can say I ran Bob into or I ran him into. So these are the list of the non-separable phrasal verbs. There are call on, come from, get over, get off, get on, get in, get out of, look into, run into. The definition is, well, as you can see, and it's actually kind of simple for the non-separable phrasal verbs because the meanings not really far away and it's easier because they have to be with their partners. They can be separated and it's easier to memorize. So the third type is phrasal verbs intransitive. What is intransitive means? Some phrasal verbs are intransitive. It means that they are not followed by an object. So, for example, the machine broke down. Please come in. I fell down. The phrasal verb is the broke down, come in, and fell down. So here are the list of the phrasal verbs. You can intransitive. I'm sorry. You can see that the verb is break down, break out, break up, come on, come in, dress up, eat out, fall down, eat up, get up, and so on and so on. You can see the definition as well. And well, for this intransitive phrasal verbs, you don't need to do an actual to make a long sentence. Sometimes you can just answer it like say it just the phrasal verbs only. Like for example, when you act childish sometimes and maybe like maybe your partners like act childish, you can just say grow up, something like that. It means to say that hey, please become an adult, not to you don't need to say the entire sentence, but that's kind of rude, so don't say that to your partner. There's also another list you can see here right here. Phrasal verbs intransitive. I'm gonna stay it for a moment here so you can read and know the definition of the phrasal verbs intransitive. Okay, let's move on to the fourth types of phrasal verbs. The three-word phrasal verbs. So some two-word phrasal verbs, like example drop in, can become three-word verbs. Like for example, drop in on. So in A example, last night some friends dropped in. So in A, drop in is not followed by an object. It is an intransitive phrasal verb. Like for example, phrasal verb state, you can go back to the video to the third part of the phrasal verb intransitive. There is a list. There is a word of drop in there. If I remember correctly, or no. But drop in is a intransitive phrasal verbs because it's not followed by an object, and you can just say it also just the phrasal verbs only to use it to whole sentence. And for example, to make it a two-word phrasal verbs, you can say it drop in on, like for example, three-word phrasal verb unseparable. Let's drop in on Alice this afternoon. This becomes two-word phrasal verbs because on and in is not a standalone. You have to follow. You have to have drop as the partners. So here are the list of the two-word phrasal verbs. You can see in drop in on, drop out off, fall around with, something like that, so on and so on. You can see the definitions. And it's actually, if you can master all this list of phrasal verbs, you can actually sound like natural, because really a lot of natural native speakers speaks using phrasal verbs because it's easier to understand and it's more efficient, shorter in terms of speaking. Well, that's all I can say. That's all I can explain about phrasal verbs. Hope you understand, and I'm sorry if my editing may be like bad or something like that, my lighting and everything. Well, I recorded at 10 p.m. This is the best I can do. I hope you understand. I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you.